It's September, there's a ton of new exciting manga that's coming out. Let's go ahead and talk about them. Welcome everyone to the Manga Buyer's Guide for September of 2023. Fast approaching the end of the year. I feel like it's been going by crazy fast. But anyway, as always, there's a lot of really cool stuff, a lot of series that I'm excited to try out, and I'm hoping that y'all are going to be excited to try them out as well. Before we get into listing all of these new and exciting manga that are coming out throughout the month of September, I'm going to go over three things that I always go over. Number one, release dates that I give here are the official release dates, but as always, things do get delayed and things do come out earlier than they're scheduled to. Number two, I'm not covering every single new release. That's not what these videos are about. I'm only covering what I consider to be notable new releases. That's going to be new first volumes, new single volume releases, final volumes, box sets, special editions, stuff like that. So I'm not going over just the newest volume of the popular shonen title that everyone's reading. I'm going over new things because the goal of this video is to help people find something that could be their next favorite new series. And finally, the last thing is just a small personal request. If you happen to be on Twitter, if you buy anything based on me talking about it in this video, if you wouldn't mind, after you get the book, take a picture, put it on Twitter, tag me at OmniCollector, and tag the publisher as well. It would mean a lot. It goes a long way. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump on into it and talk about the new things that have come out on the 5th of September. First up, there are 3 DC Comics manga that they've put out in conjunction with Kodansha, and I am very excited to try all of these. First up, we have the Joker, One Operation Joker. This one is kind of infamous. People might know about it from just seeing it online. Joker is raising a baby Batman. Bruce Wayne somehow has turned into an infant, and the Joker has taken upon himself to raise this infant. But he doesn't really know anything about Batman himself, and he doesn't know anything about raising a baby, so, you know, it is the situation. The second one is another Batman-related one called Justice Buster, and this one comes from the creative team behind the Ultraman manga that's been published recently over at Viz Media under the Signature line. It's a little bit more of a serious tone than the Joker one. There's basically crime has gotten a lot worse in Gotham, and so Batman has created a computer system called Robin that will help him deal with new and more destructive criminal threats. And then finally, the one that I'm the most excited to try out is Superman Meshi. This one, basically, very simple idea. Superman builds up a pretty extreme appetite by fighting crime, and so after he fights crime, he likes to spend his lunch time flying over to Japan and trying new cuisines and new restaurants and stuff. And I think that's a fantastic idea, whether it was a Superman story or not. And it didn't have to be in Japan either. It could just be any kind of like superpowered person who decides, you know what, today I'm gonna fly to this part of the world and try cuisine over there. I think that's a really fun idea, but I can't wait to read Superman Meshi. So those are the three DC Comics manga that are coming from Kodansha that are out this week, and I've ordered copies of all of them. I'm excited. I'm gonna have to talk about them at some point on here or on one of my other platforms. Next up is a couple of things that I normally wouldn't cover here because they're not first volumes or last volumes or anything, but Noragami in both the single volume and omnibus format is coming close to its end. And because the series is coming close to its end, I know there's a lot of people who might have skipped out on it. I want to kind of give forewarning that it is coming close to ending so that y'all can decide whether or not you want to pick up the series now. This month, September, both volume 26, which is the second to last volume of the series, and omnibus volume 7 are out. Omnibus volume 9 will be the last of those. But 27 is going to come out probably next year. It's going to be a little bit of a wait because I don't think that 27 has come out yet in Japan, so we're still waiting a little bit, which means that volume 9 of the omnibus will be a little wait as well. But that means that if you haven't tried it out yet, you have plenty of time to pick up Noragami, and I have been talking about it every time I get it in one of my hauls and stuff. I talk about it in those videos, saying I think that it's a really underappreciated series. A lot of people I think should try it out. So just pick up a couple volumes, pick up the first omnibus or something, try it out, see how you feel, and you'll be ready to pick up the rest of it in the final volumes whenever those do eventually come out. Next up, we've got another one from Kodansha, The Moon on a Rainy Night. This is a GL high school romance about a young girl named Saki who who literally runs into another girl while rushing to her piano lesson. The girl's stoic and just hands her all the things that she drops and then she leaves. But the next day, Saki starts high school and finds a stranger sitting next to her, learning that her name is Kanan. Kanan is not completely deaf, but she is very hard of hearing and tends to push people away with her icy demeanor. Saki begins breaking down the walls between them with one kind gesture. Next up, one that I've been really looking forward to from Vertical and Kodansha is The Darwin Incident. This is a new sci-fi series that follows a half-human, half-chimp hybrid called Charlie. He's a human Z is what they call them. Charlie's been raised by human parents for 15 years and is now starting high school, where he meets his first friend, the loner Lucy. However, all of a sudden his life is shattered when a group of animal rights extremists re-emerge to try and kidnap him at all costs. Next up, we have one from 7 Seas, and that is Sawara and the House of Monsters. This one looks really cool. It's a fantasy about a young woman named Sawara, raised by knights to fight against monsters. When she's old enough to join them, she's no longer needed because peace with the monsters has been declared. When she's searching now for a new calling, she finds a dwarf named Kirik, an architect in the monster world, and now instead of fighting them, Sawara and Kirik are working to build monsters more comfortable homes. Next up, we have a final volume from Udon Entertainment, Record of Lodoss War, Crown of the Coven Volume 3. So just a quick 3-volume series in that Record of Lodoss War franchise. And then we move over to Viz Media. We got one new release this first week, Blade of the Moon Princess, which is a new series from the creator of Spy Family. So it seems like they lined it up to where Tista, the 2-volume series by Endo, started and ended, and then 2 months later, after that second volume of Tista, we get the first volume of Blade of the Moon Princess. And this one is 5 volumes long, so it is a little bit longer. This one follows Princess Kaguya Takenouchi. Kaguya has never been the princess her mother's retainers had hoped for, but when the Empress is attacked by terrorists, she must protect her people. Unfortunately, the terrorists get ahead of her and eject her from the moon, sending her to the tainted world below, and now she will need to try and find a way back to the moon so that she can reclaim the throne. And then we have 2 delayed releases from last month, both of which are from Yen Press, Witch's Marriage and Game of Familia. I personally really liked Witch's Marriage, didn't care for Game of Familia that much, but your mileage may vary. Now, moving on to the second week of the month, the 12th, we get a new release, a new omnibus release from Tokyopop, and that is the Stitch and the Samurai Complete Collection. Available in both paperback and hardcover, this complete collection contains the entire 3-volume series about the alien Stitch from the Lilo and Stitch movie, who lands instead of in Hawaii, in Sengoku-era Japan, and is discovered by the warlord Yamato and his clan. The samurai brings Stitch home with him, and basically will Stitch wind up being an advantage for the samurai or not? You'll have to read along and find out. Then we get one from Vertical/Kodansha, 5 centimeters per second, the hardcover edition. This is a new hardcover collection of the manga that's based on the Makoto Shinkai film of the same name. So if you're familiar with the film, you might want to pick up this hardcover version of the manga. Next up from Tokyopop, we have a final volume, Futaribeya Volume 10. It's the final volume of this 4-Koma High School GL series. And then over at Digital Manga Publishing, we have a new BL called Depth of Field, about 2 high schoolers and their emotionally immature love. Now over at Viz Media, we get a new Star Wars manga, Star Wars The Mandalorian Volume 1. I'm not 100% sure if this is adapting the Disney Plus series or if it's new stories set in the world of The Mandalorian that have not appeared in that. I'm not absolutely sure. Either way, if you enjoy The Mandalorian, you might want to check this one out. Next up, we've got from 7 Seas, Life with an Ordinary Guy Who Reincarnated Into a Total Fantasy Knockout. This is an isekai about 2 guy friends. One is a nerdy office worker and the other a hunky guy who got transported by a naked goddess into another world where she decides to transform Tachibana into an attractive blonde woman. To return to being a man, the 2 friends must go on to defeat the Demon King. Can they reach him before their bromance may become a romance? To follow along to find out. Then from Sublime, we have Old Fashioned Cupcake with Cappuccino. I believe this is just a single volume BL. It is an 18+ series about two men, Togawa and Nozue, who work together at a pancake shop and start dating, eventually spending nights together, but then things get complicated when another coworker notices Togawa wearing one of Nozue's ties. And then finally, for the second week, we have Seven Deadly Sins, box set number 5, containing 29 through 35 of the series, as well as a reversible poster. This, I believe, is the second to last box set, so set 6 should be the last one. Moving on into the third week of the month, we've got a bunch of cool stuff too. First up, one from Eyes Press, Jungle Juice, which I'm really looking forward to. This comes from the same creator as Immortal Regis, which I believe came from Ablaze, or is coming from Ablaze pretty soon. Follows Suchan Hang at the top of his social hierarchy. He is at the top of the social hierarchy, but secretly under his clothes, he's hiding insect wings. To save a girl he likes, he's forced to expose them, and now his world has turned upside down. I'm really looking forward to checking out Jungle Juice myself, and I've heard some good things about it too. Then we've got from Yen Press, Stray Cat and Wolf. This is a romance about a young girl named Tamaki whose father recently died, so she must now attend high school in the capital. She intended on living alone, but then she's offered a place at a stranger's apartment, and the said stranger happens to be really attractive. Next up, we have also from Yen Press is Manner of Death Volume 2, which is the final volume of this BL mystery series. So it's a quick 2-volume series. I really enjoyed the first couple chapters. I still haven't finished Volume 1, but that it's only 2 volumes, I'm probably going to go ahead and finish it out. Next up from Yen Press is Maiden of the Needle. This is an isekai fantasy about a young girl named Yuri reincarnated as a member of the noble Nuer family. However, she does not seem to have inherited the family's enchanted tailoring gifts, so she's now tormented until a chance meeting with a kind-hearted noble may change her fate. Another one from Yen Press is The Ephemeral Scenes of Setsuna's Journey, a fantasy isekai about Setsuna Sugimoto, who is sent to another world to be a hero, but he suffers from weak constitution. A former hero, Kyle, passes on his knowledge and strength, which helps to allow Setsuna to experience the new world. This one, I believe, is based off of a series of light novels, so you may be familiar with the light novels. And here's one that I'm really looking forward to from this month is one more from Yen Press, Glitch. This is a 4-volume mystery series from the creator of Lost Lad London, Shima Shinya. So if you've read that one or anything else by Shinya, you might want to pick this one up. This follows a group of friends as they investigate strange visions that they've been experiencing. Really, really looking forward to checking out Glitch. Then another one from Yen Press, a lot of Yen Press ones here. Dear King, Yuna and the Promised Journey, based on the novel that inspired the movie, The Dear King. It's a 2-volume fantasy that follows Van and Yuna as they are the only survivors of a disaster where wild dogs attacked a mine, leaving behind a deadly disease. And next up we have The Do-Over Damsel Conquers the Dragon Emperor from Yen Press. Jill is sentenced to death by her fiancé, the Crown Prince, but all of a sudden she is sent back in time to the party that determined her fate. She's desperate to avoid being sentenced to death again, so she proposes to the man behind her, who turns out to be none other than the enemy neighboring country's emperor, Dragon Emperor, Hades. Now we get one from Square Enix, Final Fantasy XIV Eorza Academy. This is a single-volume school comedy with Final Fantasy XIV characters taking place in the Eorza Academy, where 2 rival schools, the Academy of Light and Academy of Darkness, have been merged. And then from Seven Seas, we get a final volume, My Sister the Cat, Volume 3. So if you've been following that one, this is the end of that series. I have not been following that one myself. And then another final volume from Viz Media, Until I Love Myself. This is a 2-volume series. It is the real-life story of a non-binary manga artist's struggles in the industry with sexual harassment from her former boss and how that experience haunted them for years. Also coming from the Viz signature line is Dracula Midnight Children, hardcover volume 1. This is a retelling of Bram Stoker's Dracula from Shinichi Sakamoto, the creator of Innocent and The Climber. Mina is the sole female student at a male-dominated academy, the Whitby School, which is near the location where the Russian cargo ship, the Demeter, was dashed by the work of the devil. So if you're a fan of vampire stories or horror, or just a Shinichi Sakamoto fan at all, you'll definitely want to pick this one up. Or maybe you're just a fan of hardcover manga. This is also a hardcover manga. And wrapping up the third week, we've got from Dark Horse, Amanon the Wanderer Volume 4. This is the final volume of this time-spanning series that follows the immortal Amanon through the 80s. So fans of that series, we finally got that last volume in. Before we get into the next week, a quick word from me about our sponsor for the video, Walt's Comic Shop. Now, if you are like me and you live in the US, we have plenty of really easy options to find new manga at nice discounted prices, but outside of the US, that is not so easy. Fortunately, I have been teamed with Walt's Comic Shop for the past several months, and for those of you who are in the EU, they are a fantastic place that you can go to shop for new English language manga. As well, if it's your first time shopping with Walt, you can use code TheOmnibusCollector to get free shipping on your first order of €40 or more. So just head on over to waltscomicshop.com, check out their wide range of manga that are available, as well as Western comics if you want to dabble in that, and pick up some cool stuff. They also have excellent customer service over there, great packaging and great shipping, so you can order with confidence from Walt's Comic Shop. And if you happen to be in Berlin, Germany, they have a brick and mortar store that you can pop by, just say hello, just tell them the Omnibus Collector sent you. Now, without further ado, let's get back into the video. Now, moving into the last week of the month, the 26th, we start off with a new one from Kodansha, Super Morningstar. It's a BL about a secret Sentai star, Kaido, and an obsessed superfan classmate, Honda, who discovers his secret. So he acts in a Sentai series, and one of his classmates finds out about it. I'm giving the disgraced noble lady I rescued a crash course in naughtiness from Vertical/Kodansha. It's a comedy fantasy series about the Demon King Alan, who takes in a young girl he finds in the woods named Charlotte. Charlotte was betrothed to the prince of a neighboring kingdom before he framed her and forced her to flee. So now Alan decides he will do what he can to make her the happiest woman in the world. The naughtiness in the title is not a spicy naughty. It's like he gives her sweets and stuff throughout the day. So that's how he teaches her how to be naughty. Next up from Seven Seas, the world's fastest level up. Dungeons have popped up all over the world, and adventurer Rin has awakened to find he has a skill called dungeon teleporting. With the new skill, he doesn't have to abide by the rules of dungeon diving and can become the strongest adventurer at the fastest possible speed. Next up, also from Seven Seas, is Plus-Sized Elf Second Helping Volume 1. This is a sequel to the original series, which is currently being reprinted. So if you're picking up Plus-Sized Elf in those reprints, you can also pick up the sequel series here. And one that I'm super excited for this month is The Girl from the Other Side Deluxe Hardcover Volume 4. This is the final hardcover of this supernatural fantasy series, which contains volumes 10 and 11 and a special short story. So this wraps up the hardcover collections for this series. These hardcovers, no lie, are like the most beautiful hardcover manga that I, in my opinion, that I have on my shelves. Everything about these is, the only thing that could make them better is if the trim size was larger, because they're not the same trim size as like the Berserk hardcovers, but they are absolutely stunning otherwise. Next up from Seven Seas in the Steamship line, so you know it's going to be a little steamy, I Can't Refuse S. That's the title, I'm not shortening it for anything. Miku becomes a wealthy benefactor's mistress when her mother falls ill and she must raise money to help her family. However, the wealthy man wants a mistress experienced in bed, and so his butler, Kamashiro, comes in to help her train in the sexual arts. Can Miku become irresistible to any man, including her teacher? Next up from Viz, we got the Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba Core Record. This is an info book based on the vastly popular manga and anime series Demon Slayer, which includes a never-before printed bonus manga. So if you're in it for the manga, you might want to grab that for that purpose. And then a big one this month from Viz is the Chainsaw Man box set for part 1. It includes all 11 volumes for part 1 of Chainsaw Man, as well as a double-sided poster. So you're holding off to pick up Chainsaw Man until the box set came out. this is your time. And then next from Kodansha, we've got Interviews with Monster Girls Volume 11. This is the final volume of this series. And from Glacier Bay, we get a book that's been delayed a few times, and that is Give Her Back to Me. I've been really looking forward to this one, and I have seen that there are printed copies floating around out there, so it should be available to purchase soon. And that's it for the month of September. A lot of really fun things that I've been very much looking forward to picking up. Let me know in the comments below what you are most looking forward to picking up this month, whether it's something I covered in this video or not, and anything that I did cover in this video, which ones of these new series are you most excited to check out? As always, thank you so much for spending time with me. I really appreciate each and every one of you. It means a lot that you'll watch the videos. And if this is one of the first times that you're watching one of my videos, please hit that subscribe button, support the channel, hit the bell so you're notified every time I put out one of these new videos. With that said, I will see you all on the next one. Peace out.